the eligible rebuild, quote, like for like, has been talked about as the fastest way to get an approval because it is expedited. Here's why it's not necessarily as advantageous as it seems. First of all, we talked about exemptions from CEQA and the coastal commissions.
Right, which is a huge one because it saves you time and money in the process of
However, half or more of the properties in the Pacific Palisades are not in a coastal zone anyway. So that has no bearing on a lot of people. The exemptions for non-conforming uses. Most houses don't have extreme conditions where they're built so far past the setbacks where it's a huge issue. The gas thing. Is it that big of a deal to keep gas or not? I don't know. And in fact, here's a thing that I don't think a lot of people know. You can actually still have gas in the house because it's a fire rebuild. And then the other big benefit that's being talked about is this expedited approvals permitting process. If you do the like for like eligible rebuild thing, as far as I know, is that all that means is that the first review of the drawings you submit will be done within 30 days, which is good. But it does not talk about the subsequent reviews that will take place after that. In addition, all projects that are a fire rebuild, eligible and non-eligible, will be expedited, because there's a dedicated team of officials for these projects separate from everyone else. So even if I'm doing a non-eligible rebuild, I'm still expedited. In the end, both will be about the same timeline in terms of speed. I've also heard that, well, the eligible rebuilds will still have an edge to them, but it's only like a couple months of approval timeline, which maybe for the layperson sounds like, wow, a couple months, that's saving me a lot of time. It's nothing. Any professional you talk to, the timeline we think about is the entire project. An extra couple months inside of the building department is nothing. So basically, level playing ground in terms of the approvals timeline between eligible and non-eligible. So coastal commissions, if you're not in a coastal zone, no impact. Non-conforming uses, probably not an issue. If you had non-conforming structures, any good architect can design within the constraints and make something beautiful and amazing. And then the whole, this is the fastest way to get an approval. Maybe not. Probably not, actually. And if it is, it's by like, what, a month or 2 months, which is nothing. So I think this is very critical because with the fires, there's a tendency for everyone to focus on like fire-specific information, which is important and true. Don't let that distract you from the bigger picture that you have in mind and distract you from these other options, which are going to be about the same in terms of time and give you massive flexibility to do whatever you wanted and not be adhered to the previous footprint of the house.